Okay, this literature review organizer is a helpful way to organize your literature review paper. Okay, so you have a topic for your literature review which is related to your field. Once you get that topic, you're going to need to find information in sources. So we can organize the information either by the source that you found it in or the subtopic or theme that that information is relevant to. So let's start with sources, because I think a lot of people are going to start with their sources. So I've got rows here for my different sources. Source 1, Judy Foreman. Source 2, Donna Gorell. That's the author of my source. And then in this row is where information from this source would go. Now, the columns are the topics, the themes that I'm finding information about. My overall topic for my paper is procrastination. So I've broken that down into different aspects of procrastination that are covered in my sources. So I've got teacher attitudes, why students procrastinate, how to deal with procrastination. You might be able to divide up your topic into these themes before you start your research and you kind of look for stuff as you go, but you might not be able to. You might have to read through some of your sources first to find out what there is information about before you can break it down into these topics. Once you've got your sources and your topics figured out, then you fill in the boxes, right? So here I've got Judy Foreman as my row, and my topic is teacher attitudes towards procrastination. Well, in Judy Foreman's article, she is uncritically against procrastination. So that's what I wrote in the box. That's her attitude. I also wrote the page number where that information was, so that when I'm writing my paper, I can easily find a quote to back up my claim. Okay? So I do that for all my sources. I have a lot of blanks here. That's totally fine. All that means is that Judy Foreman has information about this topic, but not these topics. If your source only has information about one or two of the topics you're going over, that's fine. You really only need one or two sources on, well, I shouldn't say one or two or three sources on each of the subtopics you're covering. Okay? You also want to, let's go to the bottom here, make sure that after you've kind of finished doing your research, you should have a summary or a takeaway that condenses down what you found out about your topic. So looking again at the teacher attitudes toward procrastination, what I found was that most of the sources were against procrastination, at least when students were doing it. And so that gives me something I could talk about. That's kind of like the topic sentence that I might use for that portion of my paper. Okay? And I need one of those for each of my subtopics. That's especially important if my subtopics are based on something kind of arbitrary, like time periods. If I said the 1970s, the 1980s, I need to have like a point, like what's interesting about the 1970s? Well, most people in the 1970s were saying, you know, whatever they were saying. Okay? So then I can use this information to write my actual literature review paper. I've sorted out 4 sections of my paper. Now, these will be longer than 1 paragraph each, right? Because if I only had a paragraph for each topic, I'd have kind of a short paper. But, you know, 2 or 3 paragraphs for each, just like almost as if they were their own little mini essay. So I'd write, you know, 3 paragraphs about teacher attitudes toward procrastination. Then I'd have like a transition, 3 paragraphs about why students procrastinate, a transition, and so on. And I've got, you know, information here. I know exactly where to go back to my articles if I need to find information to cite, and it's all basically sorted out for me. So this is very helpful to a lot of students. This is a Lit Review Organizer, and you can download a blank one right off of Canvas. Thanks very much.